happy marriages are not the result of magic or chemistry. You hear sometimes that this couple, they have chemistry, or they are like soulmates. This is more stuff from the movies than from reality, because in reality, a happy marriage takes hard work. If you want to succeed in your marriage, you need to invest your time, your effort, in order to resolve the many problems that are inherent to married life. Every marital problem has a solution, but you both need to work together to find it. You both need to deny yourselves and make sacrifices in order to arrive at that solution. Chris and I have been talking about problems we've experienced from early on in our marriage. We will talk about one more from each side that we went through and how we overcame it.
Well, with me, I used to have use my feelings. I used to be very emotional about every situation, every problem. And if you've been watching these videos, you've seen the problems that I've been through. And instead of using my intelligence, I used to be very emotional about it. I used to be crying and nagging, and the evil thoughts would come and torment me for days, because I was just caught up with all those feelings that I had, and feeling sorry for myself, being a victim of everything. So while I used my feelings, my emotions, nothing would be solved. He would be annoyed, and I would feel worse, because bad feelings attract more bad feelings, more sadness and so forth.
And bad feelings provoke wrong thoughts, evil thoughts. You used to jump to conclusions a lot. You used to see a small thing and you would imagine a whole situation behind that small thing you saw. And that was highly annoying to me as a husband. Generally, women are more emotional than men. Men are more rational. And it's the case in our marriage, is no different. And every time I saw Chris react in a very emotional way, that for me was more of a source of irritation than anything else. I would get very annoyed, and I would be really angry and talking to myself, saying, why can't she just think? Why can't she just reason and be sensible? But she couldn't. And then I would make another mistake, and that's my part now, where I would say to her, this is your problem. You are the problem in this marriage. I don't have a problem. I knew I wasn't perfect, but I would say to her, if you solve your problem, then our marriage will be okay. We'll be happy. So I used to think that if she resolved her problems, if she sorted herself out, then the marriage would be all right. And that was a mistake, because as I came to learn later on, in a marriage, there is no such thing as my problem or her problem, his problem or her problem. It's our problem. If you have a problem in your marriage, it's useless to point fingers and say, oh, my husband or my wife, you have this problem, or you have the problem. You have a problem in you. Your wife or your husband also is an interested party, and you both have to resolve that problem. Chris had many problems, and as long as I pushed the problems over to her and demanded her to change, I never helped her. I had to realize that her problems were mine, just as they were hers. And I had to start helping her, get involved in her world, in her life, try and understand what was going on in her head, and try and help her rather than just throw the problem back at her and say, you sort yourself out. When I started helping her solve her problems, that was when we managed to overcome that.
Yeah, but I had to change as well. The way I saw things, the way I dealt with my problems, I had to change that. I had to be reasonable. Stop being emotional about it, crying over it all the time, feeling like a victim. I started being more reasonable, thinking, okay, this is what's going on. What am I going to do about this? Where am I going to change to help my husband change? So when I started thinking and stop stopped using my emotions, that's when I started changing a lot. And if you've seen the other videos, you know that every time I realized something, I recognized something, that was because I stopped using my emotions and started using my head, my intelligent faith.
Right. So emotions are not problem-solving tools. Emotions don't solve problems. Emotions provoke more problems. They make small problems bigger. So if you want to solve a marriage problem, you have to use your head. You have to cool down, and you have to use your head and not your heart, not your emotions. So that was how Chris and I overcame this problem, and we hope that from our experience and what we've just discussed here, it will be of great help to you. God bless you.